Hi people, and hello my chilling carnage crew, it's Chili here, the man who produces Iron from my eyes, doing a 5-minute review on Helloween's newest album, Giants and Monsters. Wow, it's been a couple of years since I've done the review, of course, from Helloween's album, well, the self-titled release from 2021. An album that really surprised me because, well, this is a band that I of course knew of, I just wasn't a huge fan of, and yet the album really did blow me away. In fact, it blew me away so much that the very last track here, Skyfall, that long 12-minute epic, was on my top 10 songs of that year. So here I was coming into this new record that has been, of course, 4 years since its release, thinking, damn, I am just very keen to hear what the band has been up to, what they're going to be doing, and how this is going to sound. Because I don't think there was any lineup changes, not that I've checked really, but you know, I think they got both singers on here again, which was an interesting aspect for the last record that I think worked really well. But it didn't carry over too much on this album, sorry to say. This is a bit of an odd one. I was very excited to hear what was coming out of here. You know, Giants and Monsters, okay, it's got that same artwork, clearly they're probably going to be following down that same pathway that they did before. Working across, you know, the two singers are going to work off each other like they had done so on the previous efforts. I got Skyfall as well, so this is going to be cool, isn't it? This is going to be an interesting one. I can't wait. Then I played through the first song, Giants on the Run. I'm like, when does this get good? It was okay. It was just a very mediocre song. You know, it was not landing well. It wasn't hitting hard. It just felt very blasé. It didn't do me any justice, or it didn't do the band any justice, I should say, and I'm like, well, that was a bit deflating, sadly enough. So I'll keep on listening because, you know, of course, Helloween, they're going to pick up somewhere. There's going to be another track along the mix here that we keep going down, and sad to say, I didn't really have much more that picked me up. This is a really odd one. It's... Look, I don't know. Maybe I had my hopes up a little bit higher than it probably should have been, but it does feel like this is a very lackluster record. I just am a bit surprised how far it's fallen from the original one. It's like whatever the band had done and achieved and perfected some 4 years earlier, they just completely took it out, readjusted their lives, tried to do a reformatting maybe for here, and they've just forgotten the blueprints on how to write a good song. It just sucks. I don't know. I'm absolutely mind blown as to this album. You know, it's not like a horrendous record. It's passable, I guess, but it just didn't land anything. None of the tracks, none of the singles landed, and I'm just kind of scratching my head, just going, what am I listening to here? What is this? There's nothing here that is like, okay, I'm over the, you know, I can't wait to play this or add this to a bloody playlist. There's none of that here. It was just very forgettable song after very forgettable song after very forgettable song. Like, and it kind of reminded me, I guess, of the entire history of the band, because they are a band with some incredible records from their past, and then they have these massive slip-ups and make some terrible albums along the way. It's just so, I don't know, bizarre, you know. I mean, this is the guys that came and wrote Keeper of the Seven Keys Parts 1 and 2, and then followed up, of course, with Pimp Bubbles Go Ape. It's like the curse of Helloween. Again, no words. No words can describe what I'm listening to. It just feels so... Like I said, it's an average record, and I don't think many, even if you're a hardcore fan, I don't think you're going to disagree and say, you know, this is the greatest thing they've ever written since XYZ. You're not. And admit it, even if you were going to write that out of spite, you're just lying to yourselves at the end of the day. You might find one or two of these songs pretty cool, but the record as a whole, nah, it ain't that good. And it just sucks, because, you know, there was like, obviously they tried to repeat the same thing like they did with Skyfall. They ended the album with a big track which was called Majestic, nearly a bit over 8 minutes long, but it just kind of peters out, goes nowhere, and doesn't do anything. There's no real build up, there's no real precipice or crescendo on hand. It's existing, and that's it. And that is just the way I would describe this album. It exists. So, where does Helloween go from here? Because again, this is a band that's been around for a bit over 40 years nearly, and it's also a band that kind of has to reevaluate the moves that they've just achieved now. I don't know what's going to be their path moving forward. But I'll keep an eye out on them still. I'm not going to write them off. Overall, I'm going to give this album a score of 4 million chilies on the spicy scale, and I'll probably say that my favourite track off here will be A Little Is a Little Too Much, and maybe Hand of God. I am not entirely sure what to make of this album, and I don't think there's much more I can really say other than it feels mismanaged. It's just something of a remiss of the band to say, alright, we have slipped here and fallen. Let's back up, let's try and recreate it ourselves, and try to move forward from here. Try to make something a little bit better. Try to make a better record at the end of the day, because that's all you can try and do it. I just hope that they can. You know, I don't hate this band. And I'm not the world's biggest fan of Helloween either, but I do want them to succeed. I do want them to make some really cool music. It's just a shame that this effort doesn't feel like it reaches any of those marks. It just is there, and it's an album that I'm just not really going to come back. I'm probably never going to revisit it, to be honest. Anyway, I want to hear your thoughts on this record, so comment below, and as always, stay spicy out there. If you've enjoyed this content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to us, and stay notified for future music related content, because it keeps our manager happy at the end of the day. We are also on Discord, Instagram, Facebook, and all those other social platforms if you want to check us out. As always, people, you have a great day and stay spicy.